In this Joby GorillaPod 3K Pro review, I want to answer a question I got recently. Is the GorillaPod still worth it? I'm Andrew Can, and I believe that if I can, you can too. In this video, I want to take a look at the Joby GorillaPod 3K and 3K Pro. If you've been watching YouTube or creating for YouTube, you may have seen these popular tripods before. Joby GorillaPods have been around for a decade and have grown a loyal following among online content creators. If you're interested in picking up a Joby GorillaPod after this review, I'll have an Amazon affiliate link in the description down below. I wanted to make this review because when my friend was looking for a handheld tripod, he saw the GorillaPod, the SwitchPod, and a few others and wanted to know, is the GorillaPod still worth it? Because I own both the Gorilla and SwitchPod, I wanted to answer the question, is the Joby GorillaPod still worth it? Now, this review is not going to be a direct comparison of the two, but if you'd like to see that, let me know in those comments down below. I've been using the GorillaPods for years now. Back when I purchased my first GorillaPod, the SLR Zoom Kit. This is basically the original Joby GorillaPod 3K. The Joby SLR Zoom Kit, similar to the GorillaPod 3K and 3K Pro, can hold 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds. Each of these GorillaPods I'm showing is sold by Joby as a kit, meaning that you get both legs and the ball head. I wanted to let you know that I did receive the 3K and the 3K Pro for free from Joby at VidCon US. However, I paid for my own SLR Zoom GorillaPod. So while I'm thankful for the free product, it doesn't mean Joby's products are not without fault. So this review will talk about some of the points Joby brings up in their marketing and my own personal experiences with the GorillaPod. In this review, I want to see, how well can you grip it? How well can you wrap it? How well can you stand it? How versatile is the GorillaPod? Let's first take a look at how well the GorillaPod can grip to your camera. You can either connect your camera to the legs directly via the 1/4-inch tripod mount, or if you have the SLR Zoom, 3K, or 3K Pro kits, their ball heads come with this quick release system that uses the same 1/4-inch tripod mount. It's simple to remove this part from the tripod, and that's great. However, if you wish to screw in the quick release to your camera, you need either a screwdriver, a coin, or sometimes I've even used my car keys. This is found in the 3K GorillaPod, but was fixed with the 3K Pro GorillaPod's Arca head system that has a built-in screw system. However, in the 3K Pro version, they removed this level, which I wish was still there. My camera has a built-in leveler, so I use that. But if you don't have that level system, it was nice to have that level on the tripod, and I find it an interesting omission to the 3K Pro. I do want to say that you can just buy the GorillaPod legs or the ball head of your liking. You can add the Pro ball head to your normal 3K GorillaPod legs, and you can add your normal 3K ball head to your 3K Pro legs. Either ball head system works well to grip your camera to the GorillaPod. I prefer the Pro head though, so I find myself using that more. I want to draw attention to the fact that I'm looking at the 3K and the 3K Pro GorillaPods. Joby has many size options for GorillaPods, and each different size alters the grip. For my hand size, the 3K and the 3K Pro are comfortable. There is a size difference between the legs of the 3K and the 3K Pro. You can see that the 3K Pro's legs are smaller than the standard 3K GorillaPod legs. The original 3K GorillaPod uses a hard ABS plastic for the legs, where the 3K Pro GorillaPod uses aluminum. The different legs do make a difference in the grip. The legs are usually where I see people say the GorillaPod is uncomfortable, or where they have the biggest problem with this tripod. The GorillaPod's main selling factor are its legs. However, when looking at the GorillaPod's competition, everyone talks about how the legs are to hold. As I said earlier, the GorillaPod feels comfortable in my hands, but I've been using the GorillaPod for 3 generations now, and Joby really dialed in how to make this tripod feel good in the hands, in my opinion. But what does it feel like if you've never held a GorillaPod before? Recently I went to Disneyland with some friends, so I brought my GorillaPod and I wanted to see how it felt in their hands. We all have different size hands, and that's important for how comfortable the GorillaPod is to hold. One thing I noticed is how everyone held the GorillaPod differently. Each person naturally found a way to hold it that was most comfortable for them.
I hold it with just 2 of them because my hand's a little bit smaller, and then I use the back to kind of brace it so that I don't feel like it's gonna fall out of my hand that easily.
And that's something I didn't think about. I'm so used to holding my GorillaPod in one way that I didn't think about the many different ways you could grip it in a vlog style. I'll show you a vlogging example now. Using it in the traditional vlogging style here in Galaxy's Edge. So it's actually very useful. I'm having each of them try it in their own way, seeing how it looks. Overall, really good for what it is. I do want to mention that when you're bringing this tripod into a grip mode, you do need to rearrange its signature legs, but once they're ready, it can be used to vlog and vlog well. But that's just one part of the GorillaPod. It's a really versatile tripod, and I think you can really see that versatility in its wrapping capabilities. How well can you wrap the GorillaPod? The wrapping capabilities of the GorillaPod are where I get a lot of my value for this tripod and one of its strongest features. I love tripods because with them I can get a steady, stable shot, but I'm usually limited to where I can place them. The GorillaPod's design has allowed me to put my camera almost anywhere. I've wrapped this thing around benches, trees, boxes, etc. I've heard a lot of people say they never use their GorillaPod to wrap it around anything, but that's one of this tripod's best use cases. One thing I realized is that the GorillaPod is the Swiss Army knife of handheld tripods. It can do a lot of things. However, if you're only using the GorillaPod to grip it in a vlog style, then maybe it's not its strongest feature. Like a Swiss Army knife, it has that function, but if you're using the Swiss Army knife to cook with, it might not be the best tool for the job. Likewise, if you're getting the GorillaPod to hold it in selfie mode primarily, maybe get a tripod built just for that. The GorillaPod has never let me down, although I do need to mention that to wrap it around something does take a little bit of time as well, but I don't really mind that. The shots I can get with this thing are incredible. I filmed things I wouldn't have thought of if it weren't for the GorillaPod's leg design. The shot of me cutting chicken earlier was captured using this tripod's wrapping capabilities. The only limitation for the GorillaPod is if you can wrap it around where you want to place it. Most of the time you can. I love the GorillaPod for time lapses, and a lot of the time when people see it, it starts a conversation, and they ask me about it. I mean, when I was filming in Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge, Chewbacca was interested in it. When it comes to the GorillaPod's ability to wrap around things, it does this well and excels. If you're looking for a tripod you can place almost anywhere, I'd recommend the GorillaPod for that. That is, if you can stand the time it takes to set up. How well can you stand the GorillaPod? Speaking of standing the GorillaPod is easy, but it can take some time. I have to admit, the GorillaPod is not the quickest tripod to set up to stand. I can't deny that there are better and faster options with other handheld tripods. I timed myself, and with my fastest speeds, I can get the GorillaPod to stand the way I want in about 10 seconds. For the way I film, it's not that bad, but if you want to quickly place down this tripod and start filming, it can take a bit. Look, I can't deny that setting up the GorillaPod is the suckiest part about it. But the more you do it, the better you become and the faster you'll be able to set it up. I usually tend to wrap it around something than stand it up right. That's just because I find it easier to wrap than to let it stand on its own. I'll also say, this is probably due to my own fault, but sometimes when I'm in a rush, I don't activate the legs in the right way, and the legs start moving slowly. I've never had it fall over or off of anything, but I did notice slight movement in the footage I was recording. The thing is though, the GorillaPod can stand on uneven areas, low to the ground, and many other variations. This makes it really ideal for vlogging. Here's an example of the GorillaPod being used in a standing mode.
Sometimes you never know when you're at Galaxy's Edge if Chewbacca's here. This is just testing how well it sits and stands by itself. So far, so good.
Just be aware that it does take some time to set up the GorillaPod to stand. The GorillaPod is versatile, and that's what I really love about it. How versatile is the GorillaPod? When it comes to the GorillaPod, I really want to talk about how many different ways you can use this while you're filmmaking. This tripod exemplifies the term jack of all trades. For starters, I've been able to use this tripod as a way to keep my camera steady and get a camera without image stabilization really stable. Going around Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland and getting shots like this with my Panasonic G7 were simply incredible. The GorillaPod can also be held upside down to get really cool low-angle cinematic shots. I have a short on my channel called Little Lightning that was shot using this method with the camera upside down and just flipping the image in post to get really cool low-angle shots. I've also been on a set where we didn't have an extra battery for one of our lav mics, so what we did was we used an on-camera microphone attached to the Joby GorillaPod's tripod mount and used it as a makeshift boom pole. Just due to the GorillaPod's extra length and ability to be held on by the legs, We then found a wall and used the legs to hold the mic to the wall while someone off camera monitored the sound. In fact, I've used the GorillaPod to help me with my lighting. Before I had this light arm, I used my GorillaPod wrapped around my boom pole with this tiny aperture light as a hair light to add more depth to my talking head shots. The fact you can wrap the GorillaPod, stand it, or even hold it makes it a really versatile and portable option. This goes beyond just the camera, and for that, I think the GorillaPod is such an incredible filmmaking tool. I think for all the creative issues that this one product can help solve, it's truly incredible. The Joby GorillaPod 3K and 3K Pro are both amazing tools to help you with your video creation process. GorillaPods are the Swiss Army knives of handheld tripods, where the only limitation to your creation is how you use them. I've used GorillaPods for many of my own videos and will continue to use them for years to come. To answer the question, they're still worth it. The GorillaPod goes on sale on Amazon frequently, so if you want to pick one up, I recommend checking there. If I can use this tripod to upgrade my filmmaking process, you can too. What do you think about the GorillaPod? Let me know in the comments. Want to see a SwitchPod review? Subscribe to this channel and ring that bell to stay up to date on when that video drops and to learn more filmmaking tips, techniques that you can use too. Remember, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too.